disclaimer, I don't really like running, but with 2 kids and work and other constraints, I found that it's the most efficient way for me to keep myself sane. So first, the definition of marathon. We all know it's at 26.2 miles. Here it's much easier in the States because we're just counting up to 26, so it's passing much faster. The history you could find, in Greece, and they are controversial about if it was 26 or it was 100, and there are lots of stories to that. Anyhow, we're running on road, and this is the distance. And like anything, big in life, you need to plan and then train. And like anything else, the planning is quite easy, and then it's all about the execution. Today, there are lots of really good resources around the web that could build you a training program that will suit the exact shape that you are in. The big thing that differentiates marathon specifically from any other run, from half marathon or from shorter run, is that usually we need to train our body to do these long runs. If you are in a decent shape, you could train for 2-3 weeks and you could do probably an hour and a half to 2 hours of any activity without hitting any major wall. But in marathons and any other long races, we need to really train and make sure that our body is working well above 2 hours of activity. And normal runners will run 20 miles, and that will be their most far distance that they will do in the training. Elite runners are running actually more than a marathon during the training. They will do 30 and sometimes more. And the amount of miles that they are doing weekly is about 100, and sometimes it's unbelievable. One crucial thing that people are doing is carb load, is mainly eating right and making sure that while we are doing our training, 2 weeks before the marathon, trying to not eat any carbs at all, so focusing on meat and protein. And then in the week before the marathon, we're doing this carb load and eating only carbs, so our muscles could store more glycogen. The race itself, it's changing between individuals, but most of it's composing from 2 races. One will be the first 20 miles, and then the last 6.2 miles. And it's quite true, and the physics behind it is because our body could store a certain amount of energy, and usually this energy is running out after the 20 miles. To me personally, I did a quite foolish thing, and I started my first marathon in San Francisco, and the guy that planning this route is totally nuts. The route is extremely difficult. I was really surprised on my first run because I didn't hit any wall, and I was doing well on the 21st and actually 22nd miles. But then I hit it pretty hard, and up to the 24th mile I was walking, running. I don't really remember a lot, but then from the 24th mile and above it was smooth through the end. The main thing that we're trying to achieve in the planning is just to make sure that the body will be able to pull it without any injuries or things that you don't want to cause it. Why is the big question. So there are lots of research that show that it's good for your brain, any sports activity, and there are specific research that show that specifically running and actually reading maps. So it's like my first talk 4 years ago about orienteering is it's probably the better thing to do. There are other researchers that just show that any sport activity that you're doing daily is very healthy to the mind and the body. Other is, of course, the runner high. Unlike the drug dealer from yesterday, it's very cheap and the effect is quite good. Usually, like in any other thing, it's not just 4 or 5 miles that are sufficient, but 30 minutes of good workout will usually do the trick to people that are already quite trained. Carbs become your friend, so for a lot of people that are trying, to see what they eat and how they eat, it's not completely true because you do want to eat healthy and make sure that you don't just going wild with pizza. But in general, rule of thumb, you can eat as much as you want because you burn lots of energy. And the last thing that was compelling to me is that in marathon and actually triathlons as well, it's less about the race in terms of, okay, I got the first place or the second or the third. It's more about myself, and that's one of the big accomplishments of those races. Thank you.